It's a new year, and many of you have probably made some New Year's resolutions. Heck, you may have already broken them by now. But what about your kids? Should they have New Year's resolutions? Dr. Heather Felton is an assistant professor in the UofL School of Medicine and the medical director of the UofL Pediatrics Sam Swope Kosair Charities Center. She also works for UofL Physicians, and she's here to talk about New Year's resolutions for kids. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me on.
All right. Well, Dr. Felton, do you have any New Year's resolutions you want to share with all of us?
I stay with like the typical eat healthy, try to exercise more. I had a baby last year, so it's always at the top of the list of things to do.
Yeah.
But
Lose weight, work out,
exactly.
all that stuff.
Yeah, drink more water, those kind of things.
Okay. So you've got some New Year's resolutions. I don't have any because I can never keep them. But you're saying that perhaps there are some guidelines for kids.
Yes.
That they should have New Year's resolutions.
So I really love this idea, and I'm also an official spokesperson for the AAP, the American Academy of Pediatrics. And so they sent out a list of suggested New Year's resolutions for children, which I thought was a really fantastic idea because unlike us, my New Year's resolutions are all about changing bad habits. And for kids, especially for your younger ones, it's not changing a bad habit, which is really hard to do, to change something you're used to doing, but it's let's start with the good ones. So if you get in the habit now of doing these things that are good for you, it'll be much easier to keep up with it later on. So that's why I really like this idea.
So the idea is that these kids in different age groups have different resolutions.
Right.
So what do you tell them? What are some of the things that parents should encourage their kids, even the youngest ones, to think of as resolutions and something they're going to keep up all year?
Yeah, so they should all be age appropriate. So like for your preschool crowd, you want to think about getting them to wash their hands, learning how to do that on their own, and making sure they know when they should be washing their hands. Brushing their teeth, if they're not doing it completely on their own, making sure that they at least let an adult kind of go in behind to make sure they got everything. Keeping their toys put away. I get something out, I play with it, I put it away. Learning to seek an adult for advice and who to talk to, who to trust. Helping a friend who is sad and going up and giving them a hug and those kind of things. But it really is like laying the groundwork for all of the things that I'm going to end up talking to you about every time you come in for your checkup anyway.
So the doctor's going to talk to you even if the parent doesn't, right?
Yes.
Should the parent ask the kid to write these things down, or do you encourage the kid to come up with their own
I think kind of both.
resolutions?
At first, I have a 3-year-old. She would have no idea what I was talking about. But I think that even children as young as like 3 or 4 would understand that like this is month 1. This is the beginning. This is the first. And so this would be a really great time to kind of set some goals. And so even if they don't have the concept of like coming up with their own resolution, like give them some of these ideas and say, what one of those things sounds like a good idea to you, and kind of letting them pick.
Isn't this kind of like when you get your kid a dog, though, and they say, oh, yeah, I'll walk it every day. I promise, Mom and Dad. And
Right.
then a month later, Mom and Dad are walking the dog. So how do you
Exactly.
keep the kid brushing the teeth or the child brushing the teeth 2 times a day like they've promised to do?
So most of kids this age respond really well to like reward charts and things. So if you put up like a sticker chart in the bathroom or on the fridge or something like that, and you get a sticker every time you do it, maybe we can work up to a prize at the end of the week or something like that. But it helps to keep goals. And then going through the year, let's revisit it every month. Let's say you're doing a great job brushing your teeth. Okay, now we're going to try to wash our hands every time that, like right before we eat or after using the bathroom or something like that. And getting them to be more independent and doing them themselves, but kind of revisiting it every month.
We're talking with Dr. Heather Felton. She's with the University of Louisville Physicians and the University of Louisville, and she's with the School of Medicine as well. She's the medical director of the UofL Pediatrics Sam Swope Kosair Charity Center. And if you're looking to check her out, if you've got a child that needs a pediatrician, it's over there off Eastern Parkway, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are these resolutions more obvious for children who are 13, 14 years old, that you might be able to get them to stick with something a little easier than a 4 or 5-year-old?
Perhaps they're going to probably have a lot more ownership of these kind of things and take more personal responsibility for them. And it gets to be maybe a slightly more complicated or more mature level of like what the resolution actually is. 5 and older, kind of like your grade school crowd, might be more specific of like, I'm going to try to really just drink milk and water, and I'm going to save soda and like sugary drinks for special occasions, birthday parties and sleepovers.
That's
and
a
that
good
kind
one.
of thing. Yeah. You can stay with some of the ones that your younger crowd had, like picking up when I'm done playing and those kind of things, but also expanding it to taking my dirty dishes from the dinner table to the sink to try to help out at home. So starting to put in a little bit more personal responsibility there. Some of the ones really translate well for all age groups. So identifying an adult at home, at school, at clubs or other activities that you do that you really trust, where if you do have a problem, you can go to and talk to them about. Being friendly towards other children. If you see somebody being bullied, what do you do? Those kind of things I think are really helpful for all age groups. And
Some of the empathy things.
Yes, yeah. And then there are some that are kind of just for your older groups that you see, and those may be things like restricting your media use, specifically like not texting and driving.
You are so funny. Telling a 13 or 14-year-old
but that would be
restrict
a
the use of your
great
cell phone.
resolution, though.
Ooh, boy, that's that'd be a good resolution. I don't know how long a 13 or 14 or 15-year-old.
So it doesn't have to be cold turkey. I think that some people, they hear that and they're like, I'm not giving up my phone. Well, I'm not either. But like limiting its use. So let's say that I'm going to try to keep, especially during school days, to like 2 hours or less a day, which is what's recommended by the AAP. Or if I'm using it a ton right now, maybe I'm just going to try to cut it in half. So maybe I'm doing more than 2 hours a day, but it's less for me, and that can be my goal. Keeping goals specific can be very helpful too.
I'll tell you what we did, and this might be a good New Year's resolution for some parents out there, is at the dinner table. If we're eating breakfast
That's a
together,
great
lunch,
one.
dinner, whatever.
That is a rule at my
the
house.
phone cannot come to the table
Yep.
for anybody, and that
Nope.
includes Dad too,
Yes.
who's addicted to his phone. So
That is our rule, absolutely.
maybe that's a good rule. Are there some others for teenagers, perhaps, that are realistic that parents can say, "All right, Billy, here's your New Year's resolution," or this is maybe something you should think about for this year?
So I think also with teenagers too, because teenagers are going to be very independent. So giving them some freedom to choose their own thing, but definitely talking about opening the conversation. If you were going to change something, what's like one thing that you know that you could really be successful at if you put your mind to it? Let's say that like I love my sugary drinks. I drink a Coke every single day and I'm not giving it up. Don't give that one up. Then that's not the one that we're going to pick right now. Maybe instead I think I would like to try to eat more fruits and vegetables every day. Maybe that sounds better to me. Or maybe I'm not going to change my diet so much, but I am going to try to like get out and walk at least once a day. So I think just picking something that you know that when it's all said and done, you can look back and say, hey, I'm proud that I did that.
What's the parent's role in all of this after they've made a resolution, after the child's made a resolution, and then, they go a week or two and they're great about not drinking the second Coke or staying away from sugary drinks, and then all of a sudden they start falling off the wagon? Is the parent supposed to become a nagger here, or should it be gentle reminder?
Kind of both, and kind of in the middle. So you definitely want to provide lots of encouragement for it. I think nagging is the wrong word to use, or you wouldn't.
Well,
be
that's
in
how the
trouble
kid
for
will
doing-
see it.
Right. But I think maybe making it more of like a conversation, like, why did you choose this one in the first place? Wasn't this something that you wanted to do better with? And so reminding them of the reasons why they chose this, and kind of rekindle that goal that they had.
From your perspective, does it help if the parent also has some New Year's resolutions?
Absolutely. So, if you are looking to eat healthier this year, you're so much more likely to be successful if you do it with somebody else, and especially your family. You eat together all the time. You're with each other in the evening. If it's your goal to get out and exercise every day, go and do it together. Go walk the dog, or go to the park, something like that. Or if go grocery shopping together. I'm going to pick something that's healthy, but I'm doing it with you, so we're going to hold each other accountable.
We're talking with Dr. Heather Felton. She's from UofL Physicians, and she's a UofL pediatrician at the University of Louisville. What do you tell the parents and kids when they come into your office? If say, a kid walks in, and even if it's not just after New Year's, kid walks in, is obviously overweight, and you need to have that discussion, obviously, with the parent. This is not good, that you're going to wind up with an obese kid if he doesn't work out a little bit and get some more exercise. But what kind of conversation do you have with that parent about what they might be able to say to the child in a nice way? Well, I'll just leave it at that, in a nice way.
Yeah. So what I usually talk about is not so much about like worrying about the weight, the number on the scale. Kids are always growing, and so kids don't have to lose weight. If you just stay the same, you're going to kind of grow into this weight. So that's nice. Wouldn't it be great if your doctor said, you don't actually have to lose any weight. You just stay the same. You'll be fine.
I might say that.
So I frame it more as like, we just want to be healthier. We don't need to lose weight. It's not about how you look. I just want your body to be healthy. And I want you to live the best life that you can. And these are the ways that we might want to do that. I think giving the child ownership into it, not saying like, I'm gonna take away your sweets, I'm gonna take away your sugary drinks, I'm gonna take away your TV, and I'm gonna make you exercise all the time. It's not realistic, and nobody is gonna do that. But taking these small little baby steps towards gradually developing healthier lifestyles, it's what's gonna be more beneficial in the long term.
Is there any research out there that you're aware of that shows that works, that when a kid sets a target and a goal with a resolution or whatever you want to call it, of cutting down on sugary drinks or putting down the phone for half an hour a day or whatever, does that work? Can the kids stick with it?
I think if they are very specific in the goal. So my overall goal is not to lose weight. That's too big. But my goal is that 2 times a week, I'm going to get outside, I'm going to walk. Like I can hold myself accountable to 1, 2. Or doing it together. That has been shown to be so much more likely to have success than if I'm going to do this all on my own. And so choosing their own goals and holding each other accountable, I think, are some of the biggest things that you can do, and being very specific in the goals that you choose.
All right. Final notes to parents. What would you tell them about resolutions for 2017 for their children?
One last thing that I would plug is that you always want to also encourage safety. So if you've gotten into bad habits as far as safety goes, it's another great thing to do. Making sure that kids are buckled correctly in the car. We don't take any shortcuts. That's definitely something that parents can say, laying down the law, this is what we're going to do, and no discussion after that.
All right. And get vaccinations.
Absolutely.
Make sure your kids have vaccinations,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Aren't you glad I reminded you of that?
Mine get them all. I have 2 little girls. They get all their vaccines. They get them all on time.
Okay, very good. Dr. Heather Felton, Assistant Professor, UofL School of Medicine, and with ULP, thanks for being on the program.
Thank
Appreciate
you very
it.
much.